Welcome to the Horse Talk Show. Have you ever seen a horse who could talk? With your host, Louisa Barton, who really wants to be a famous rider. She really loves to ride fast. Presented by Peterson and Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care.
Truth is, I have horses with people problems.
Now here's the Brit on the bit, Louisa Barton. Enjoy the show.
Larson Farms is our TV broadcast sponsor. Mr. Richard Larson, a man of great integrity, cares about every single bale of hay and about taking care of his customers. He also has a huge heart for those genuinely in need. Larson Farms, Idaho's finest alfalfa. The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital. Thank you for joining us on the Horse Talk Show presented by Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care. Thank you to Larson Farms. They're our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
I'm Louisa Bart.
I'm Dancin Pete Rodda.
And we have a great show lineup for you. Pete, who do we have on this week? Threw you straight under the bus, didn't I?
Yes, you did. Wildlife Works. We're going to do a walk and stop.
What's a walk and stop, Pete?
What's a walk and stop? A walk and stop is where we get on the farm.
Do you walk and stop?
And we walk along the farm and we stop and discuss what we see, and then we start walking. And sometimes during the walk, we have to stop because we see something along the walk.
Fantastic. And tell us what Wildlife Works is.
Wildlife Works is a company that gets rid of unwanted critters in your farm, barn, and house.
And you don't want critters around your horses.
Don't want certain critters around your horses.
This is a true fact. You know, a long time ago, I'm just going to share this horrible story with you with no names mentioned, but a long time ago, I very briefly had my horses boarded at a farm where I came in the morning, and there were certain critters floating in their water buckets. I didn't stay long. The patter of tiny feet had another entire meaning at that farm. Not a good experience. So anyway, if you have any critters, even if you don't have horses, if you have any unwanted critters around your house or your farm, Wildlife Works are absolutely fantastic professionals.
And they go and they can fix how they're getting in and out. And so it's way more than just they get rid of the critters that are unwanted. They can actually set it up so that they can't get back in, and they do amazing work. They did some metal pieces to put under the house that was just wonderful. Yeah,
they do. Mireille from MD-equine Therapy is going to be on in the second half of the show, presented by Palm Chevy, and she is going to be talking about taping. It's a very, very educational segment, and by the way, she did a little taping on me when I had a bad headache and some bad posture, just to demonstrate how effective it is. Not that she actually treats people, but wonderful, wonderful therapy, and very, very helpful with my head pain that I was experiencing. So absolutely wonderful. And of course, Pete will have his tip of the week later in the show. And of course, so will Ocala Dog Ranch, Neil Hennessy. So,
and we'll have Dr. Rullan with Epic.
Yes, Equine Performance and Innovative Center.
He's going to talk about his great stuff that he does at his place.
Yes, rehab and conditioning at Epic. And we've got some events to mention and exciting things going on in the horse world. And just around the corner is January of 2025. Can you believe it? It's just a couple of months away.
Mounted Police Championship at the World Equestrian Center, January 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. And the greatest part of this is there's celebrity judges. You and I will be judging part of this. They're going to have mounted police come from all over
the country. Yes.
So you can come and support the police and the mounted police.
Yeah, be exciting to
free
watch
to get in
for spectators. Yeah, and you get to see World Equestrian Center if you haven't seen it yet.
That's right.
This is exciting. So last week on the show, we had probably one of the most fascinating, interesting, and well-educated on the Iberian breed of probably anybody I have ever met in my life. Tina Vida was with us, and she has put together such an amazing opportunity for folks to come out. There's some free clinics with some really, really top experts. There's a kids fest area with hobby horses, and Gentle Carousel will be there, and all sorts of fantastic things for all ages. But the really big, exciting, spectacular is Friday and Saturday night, October the 18th and 19th at World Equestrian Center also. And this spectacular is going to be just off the charts and a really, really phenomenal way to showcase these incredible Iberian breeds. And they're just fantastic.
It's only $20 to get in, and it's
$20.
once again at the World Equestrian Center.
And what can you do for $20? Hardly anything.
Anything.
You know, as you
Go to the
mentioned
movies
earlier.
with one person.
Yes, this is true. And part of the proceeds from this amazing event is going to go to a group of people that I've known for, goodness me, I think 6 or 7 years, and that is Horses Without Humans. Known Yvonne, who is actually one of the performers in these incredible shows, and she actually has this Horses Without Humans rescue. And I actually was at her farm when when some horses came in that were literally bones. And the recovery process I got to watch over time on social media of those horses was amazing. And actually, there's a very famous Pasofino out there right now, Gascon, who is winning everything, who was actually one of the rescue horses from. And he's actually a Breyer horse this year.
Wow.
And he came out of the Horses Without Humans rescue. So this is what you can do with rescue horses. You know, just because a horse has been poorly taken care of and mismanaged and maybe starved doesn't mean he can't come back and do great things. So I think it's wonderful that these events are helping to benefit such a great cause.
What I heard when she came to talk to us, I want to go see this, and I want to invite a lot of friends because it sounds like it's going to be spectacular, stupendous.
Stupendous. I think spectacular was a very good choice of words for this. So, and I don't think you have to be a horse person by any means.
And they're going to educate
enjoy
you.
it.
That's the cool part.
Yeah, there's a lot of education in this as well as the show itself. And I think it's just going to be phenomenal. So make sure you get those dates on your calendar. So 18th and 19th for that spectacular, and get your tickets now. I hear it was absolutely full, the event last year. So don't let it sell out on you. Get your tickets now. You can find them on Facebook and
come see us. We'll have a table.
We'll be there.
The Horse Talk Show.
Yes, we will.
Boo Splash.
Boo Splash? What's that?
October 26th at our favorite Ocala Dog Ranch.
Yes, it's the second annual Boo Splash, wonderful dog competitions, contests, and this is an international dog sports event, and it will start at 9 a.m. on the 26th, and make sure your dog has a costume on. I guess you can have a costume on too, but there's prizes for the best dog costume.
There you go.
I think it's definitely worth joining that, right?
That's right.
We love this event, don't we?
Oh, yeah. November 22nd from 10 to 3, Equine Industry Expo.
And November 23rd, the All-Breed Parade at 10 o'clock and the Hobby Horse Equestrian Games after that. The parade will probably be 60 or 70 horses, all sorts of different breeds, a parade around the park. And the Hobby Horse Equestrian Games presented by AgPro Ocala is going to be so much fun because we're going to do a lot of different horse sports from the safety of a stick horse and win ribbons and trophies.
Woohoo!
So make sure you have November 22nd and 23rd on your calendar. Shout out here to, actually, if you're looking at the poster, it says Horse Capital Parade Volunteers. It should say participants. We would like to invite you, if you have a parade safe horse, we would like you to join us, just you two-legged for this, not four-legged. We would like you to join us on November 15th at 6 o'clock at the Florida Horse Park under the covered arena. We would like you to bring a negative Coggins or proof of a negative Coggins on your phone for your horse. We're going to ask you some questions. We just want to make sure that your horse is used to noises, sounds, goings on, carriages, kids, and all sorts of other things. If your horse is parade safe, we would love to have you join us on November 23rd with your horse at the Florida Horse Park to show off your breed. But we'd like to talk to you first on November 15th so we can lay out the plans for this event. And this parade is brought to you by Pat Myers Electric, who is a phenomenal electrician who is happy to come on your farm and check it out and make sure everything is safe for your horses. So 6 p.m., November 15th. If you would like to come and attend and eat some pizza with us and learn about the parade, Louisa at ocalacep.com. Send me an email. We've got to wrap it up. Coming right back after this. Stay with us. This portion of the Horse Talk Show is brought to you by Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care. Our television broadcast sponsor, Larson Hay. Idaho's finest alfalfa, and supporting sponsors DAC Minerals and Vitamins, Seminole Feed Stores, Lip Chip, Piranha, Pat Myers Electric, Florida HVAC Services, and Ocala Dog Ranch. This show is brought to you in part by DAC Vitamins and Minerals of Florida. All horses need a solid immune system, excellent joint support, a healthy gut, and DAC has all the vitamins and minerals they need with the NASC stamp of approval. So like them on Facebook now or go to feeddac.com. DAC, it makes a world of difference.
Equestrian. It's not just a word but a title. It comes paired with hard work, discipline, and talent. LipChip is a company built by equestrians to make life at the barn a little easier. Introducing the Hoofling system, powered by LipChip, where a microchip becomes a secure key to unlock temperature, register for your next event, and keep track of required documents. Simply implant, scan, and unlock. Equestrians, the future is here, and the future is LipChip.
Nirvana, Ocala's premier medical spa, is leading the way in great skin with all the newest in treatment options, offering prejuvenation for younger clients and rejuvenation for all ages. Nirvana knows you want to look your very best, but we've all seen people with the telltale signs of too much work. We want you to look like you, just better, brighter and younger, with all the newest and best in technology and all in the most beautiful surroundings. Like Nirvana Medical Spa on Facebook and find them on the web at nirvanamedicalspa.com. Become a better, brighter and younger you. The team of professionals at Equifence of Florida specialize in equestrian fencing, offering great communication, quality fencing, and all done in a timely manner. Reliable service with horse safety in mind all the time. Also offering customized residential, vinyl, wood, aluminium, and chain link fences services. Equifence of Florida, quality fencing done right to keep your animals safe. For more information, find Equifence of Florida on Facebook now. The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital.
Hi, this is Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith. We're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Welcome back to the second segment of the Horse Talk Show, presented by Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care. Thank you to Larson Farms, they're our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
I'm Louisa Barton.
I'm Dancin Pete Rodda.
And the guy coming up is Dr. Adam Cayot, and he has a tip of the week for you.
Hi, I'm Dr. Adam Cayot with Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care for your tip of the week. Always pay attention to your horse's hoof health and hoof angles. Make sure that they are not, their toes are not getting too long and that they're on a consistent schedule with the farrier. This can alleviate, number one, a lot of foot pain or foot problems, and that can also lead to other problems with the joints and soft tissues that will need to be addressed and are much more severe than trying to, have the farrier or your blacksmith attend to those things before they become an issue.
Dr. Cayot, he is a wealth of information. And speaking of a wealth of information, Corinne from Wildlife Works does a great job preventing critters from being on your farm if you don't want them. Here she is with Pete and a walk and stop.
Dancin Pete here on the Horse Talk Show, and we're here with Walk and Stop. We're here with the Wildlife Works and Corinne, and we've already gone over the farm. Now we're going to go to the house. Just like Louisa says, if you have a horse, you probably have a dog. If you have a farm, you probably have a house on it. So let's ask Corinne what she sees in a house.
So one of the first things that we look at is the roof line. So when coming to a home like this, I would notice what we call an eave return, and that's where shingle meets soffit. So every place where shingle is meeting soffit, where it makes an angle, that's typically an entry point. Wildlife only needs 1/4 of an inch, 3/8 of an inch for a bat to be able to enter a structure. So we make sure that we come in, we seal up those entry points, we determine if any of that soffit is loose or if it's been moved, and then we can actually go in and remove whatever wildlife is in there. We can't do that until the home is sealed up. So sealing those entry points up would be my first step.
Wow. All right, let's walk around the house.
So another thing that I note on a home is I do a full inspection on the roof. And if you see the roof ridge right here, the ridge vent right here on top of the roof, if it's made of aluminum, that's kind of an older style, and oftentimes either end is going to be completely open. So usually you'll see squirrels, you'll see rodents entering through that ridge vent on the top. If it's plastic, usually that's a little safer, but they do make inserts and that we can install as well when we come and we do that exclusion that are going to block either end of that aluminum ridge vent.
Very good. All right, let's walk again.
Another thing that we look at is plumbing stack vents, like these pipes coming out here. That's a pipe vent or a plumbing vent. And while we don't usually see rodents coming up through toilets like you see in New York, it is something that we just want to mitigate, and we don't want that problem to occur at all. So if we come out, we make sure we cover those, we cap them. It helps with frogs and also snakes. So we make sure that we take care of those.
Okay, make sure you get your vents covered for those snakes to come out from the toilet.
Oh, that has happened.
Oh gosh. All right, let's walk again. All right, we just stopped. Corinne wants to talk about the chimney. So tell us a little bit more about the chimney.
Sure. Chimneys are major entry points if they're not properly sealed for squirrels, rodents, it can be raccoons, but also chimney swifts. Chimney swifts are a type of bird. Often people confuse them with bats because they do look similar if you were to look up or look down at them, and they make kind of a chirping sound when they're young. So often people will confuse them. But that's something that we can take care of beforehand, because if they've nested in your chimney, you have to wait legally until those young birds fledge and they leave before we can do anything. Wow. So getting on top of it in a preventative service is usually what we suggest.
So watch out for those chimney sweeps.
Yeah.
All right, let's walk on.
So,
Corinne just found this little mound, and what do you say this is?
So usually this is going to be a burrowing beetle. If you see a few that look similar to this in an area and the ground is spongy, when you step on it, it feels like it's spongy, that's going to be mole. But if you see these and it's not spongy and there's no holes, there's no burrow or no tunnels, that's going to be that beetle. And so having a pest control company come out, they can actually handle that better than we can.
Very good. Yeah. So her expertise is rodents and wildlife, not beetles. So insects and all that, she's going to call the people that are going to help her with that. So let's talk about air conditioning. That's what Corinne talked about while we walked. So We're going to stop at the air conditioning and tell us a little bit what we have to worry about with the air conditioning.
With AC units, one thing that you're going to be looking at is the foundation here. If there's any burrowing under the foundation or any digging along the edge, I always suggest having us come out, because armadillos will go under your AC and it can crack the foundation. If they're there long enough, if they're deep enough, if their burrows are big enough, I've seen older foundations typically, but crack under that weight of the AC and nothing under it. So getting those out is really important. And then also checking your lines. So if you can come back behind your AC and you can check the lines along the edge of the wall and where they enter, you want to make sure that they're sealed, that there's no chewing on any of the insulation here, the AC insulation, and then going up into your wall. Oftentimes, this is a great example of what it should look like. But a lot of times, if it's not a newer unit or if it wasn't installed properly, there's going to be holes where these lines enter the home. And that's a great entry point for flying squirrels, for rats. They love to go up into there, and then they make their way up into the attic.
So flying squirrels. Tell us a little bit about flying squirrels. I didn't know Florida had flying squirrels until I saw one when we were taking some limbs down. So what do we have to worry about flying squirrels?
Flying squirrels love attic spaces as well. They act a lot like a squirrel. They're just a lot smaller, and they're nocturnal. So you may hear them at night, whereas squirrels you're usually going to hear in your house throughout the day. So if you're hearing sounds at night, it's usually going to be, it could be rats, it could be flying squirrels, it could be raccoons. Those are your nocturnal animals. If you're hearing a lot of noises during the day, that's typically going to be just a gray squirrel.
Okay. All right. Walk and stop at the house with Corinne. We'll see you next week.
This portion of the Horse Talk Show is brought to you by Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care, our television broadcast sponsor, Larson Hay, Idaho's finest alfalfa, and supporting sponsors DAC Minerals and Vitamins, Seminole Feed Stores, Lip Chip, Piranha, Pat Myers Electric, Florida HVAC Services, and Ocala Dog Ranch.
Faulty wiring is the leading cause of barn fires. I'm Pat with Pat Myers Electric. Equine facilities have special electrical needs. The knowledgeable and licensed team of electricians at Pat Myers Electric will ensure that you can achieve your vision for a beautiful, safe, and functional horse facility. From new construction to rewiring and updating, the Pat Myers Electric team is ready to jump in and help keep your horses safe. With a small farm of our own, we truly understand the unique concerns of the horse owner. Don't take chances. For all your current barn needs, go to patmyerselectric.com.
This show is brought to you in part by Seminole Feed Stores, family owned since 1934. Manufacturing fixed formula horse feeds with mindful monitoring and quality ingredients right here in Ocala in an all-natural, non-medicated feed mill. Seminole Feed, simply the world's best and safest feed. Like them on Facebook now or find them at seminolefeed.com.
Horses. Piranha! Oh no! Oh, the humanity! Oh, piranha.
Peterson and Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care seeks to be a leading international veterinary practice that provides state-of-the-art veterinary care to their patients while fostering professional relationships with their clients that stand the test of time. For 24/7 and the best in equine care, check out Peterson and Smith at petersonsmith.com or like them on Facebook now for more information. The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital.
Hey, this is Buck Brannaman. You're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Back on the Horse Talk Show, presented by Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care. Thank you to Larson Farms. They're our television broadcast sponsor. Idaho's finest alfalfa. I'm Louisa Barton. And we're interrupting this program when you were expecting Tommy Turner from Equifence of Florida. And I know that Tommy wouldn't mind because we are in difficult times in the aftermath of Hurricane Helene. And we had an opportunity unexpectedly to chat to Jason Reynolds, the executive director of the Florida Horse Park this week, to talk about some of the challenges for them at the moment with logistics, because they are a major hub to help in the aftermath of this storm. So we're switching it up a little bit on you. Here's Jason Reynolds. Louisa Barton here for the Horse Talk Show and the CEP's Equine Initiative, standing at the very beautiful and scenic Florida Horse Park with the director, Jason Reynolds. And it's a pleasure to be here. The circumstances have not been great recently, as Jason will share. We were very fortunate here to be spared a terrible hurricane hit as Helene made landfall. We were spared in the Ocala-Marion County area for the most part. We obviously had some trees and power lines and things, but we actually came out much better than other parts of the state, particularly, as most people know, the Big Bend, and then obviously stretching up through Georgia and North Carolina. And our prayers and thoughts go out to every single person that's been affected by the storm. But we are very fortunate here in Marion County to have an excellent logistics site to really be able to get so many things accomplished when we unfortunately do have these hurricanes come through. Jason, share with us a little bit, first of all, the Florida Horse Park is 500 incredible acres. And
Correct.
Share with our listeners the main purpose for the Florida Horse Park, which of course is horses.
Right, it is. And I want to echo your statement about our thoughts and prayers. What a horrible event, and we're just thinking of them and praying for them. But yes, we have 500 acres. Usually it's green, and it doesn't have a whole lot of equipment, but today it does. And we run horse shows. We run car shows, anything to help the community and horses. We'll do it. So that's what we usually do.
Yes. It's incredible, beautiful place to do all of that from. We love it. We appreciate everything you do here. Tell us kind of what we're seeing going on here around us. And as I mentioned at the beginning of this, logistically, where we sit in Ocala, Marion County is such a great place to, one of the reasons distribution centers like us is because we are a great place to go south, north, east, and west from, being in the sort of in the middle, but higher in the middle. We've got not far from Georgia. We're in a great spot, but the Florida Horse Park provides an incredible logistic base really for all these goings on. So share with us a little bit about what's happening here.
So we are a logistical staging area for the Florida Department of Emergency Management. And all that means is we just provide the land. They provide all the equipment to go do the life-saving events that need to happen. So what you're seeing back here is all equipment. It's light bars, it's bathrooms, it's pumps to get water out, you name it, just to save people and electric wise and stuff. They have it here. And like you said, we're a mile away from the interstate. So it's super easy for them to come in. We have enough roads to where it's very easy for them to work around. And we're just happy to help them out.
And I see generators. I know generators and lighting sets are a huge part right now for people who don't have power. When a hurricane is coming, or we think it's coming, does this start to get ready here, or is this something that happens after the storm?
So for this particular storm, about 2 days before, when we kind of knew where it was going, they started to set up. They started to pre-set up and knew, okay, they kind of knew where it was going to hit. They have their locations in Florida, and they said, okay, let's go ahead and start moving equipment there. So about 2 days ahead of time, we just had lines and lines of trucks, and 24 hours. This runs 24 hours. So we just had lines and lines of trucks just dropping stuff off and just preparing. And then after, or probably not even after, but probably a little bit during, they were starting to prepare and starting to load trucks to take to areas that they knew were hit.
So that's incredible. So they bring the supplies and the needs here, and this becomes sort of the base for that. And then outward, it then goes to wherever it might be needed. So then it's taken back out to the most obviously affected areas.
Correct. And they do it all through the state. They could hit Pinellas County, they could hit the Big Bend area. They're just providing wherever it needs to go.
That's incredible. So really it takes it from its main role, which is obviously horse shows, events, fundraisers, etc., polo, all the wonderful horse events that go on here. It actually becomes really a central spot for emergency management to be able to work as efficiently as possible.
No, absolutely. And we're proud that we can do it. I mean, we don't charge a penny for it. I mean, we feel like it's our obligation to help the state out, and hope that others would too if we were ever in this situation. So we do still try to run horse shows, and when we're running those, I just ask for patience because, we have to let this happen. These lives are being saved by this, and we're just grateful that we can help out in any way.
Yeah, so folks out there that have horse competitions, the equipment may not be as aesthetically pleasing as the Florida Horse Park usually is, and maybe your horse won't love it quite as much. But we do ask you to be patient and understanding during this time, because there are those who've lost their lives, lost everything they owned, animals, are still searching for missing people in places. There are whole towns that have been destroyed. It's absolutely heartbreaking. So we ask you as horse owners to just love on Jason and his team and the Florida Horse Park and thank them for what they're doing here, because it literally is saving lives and helping people who need to get back on their feet right now. So as much as we love horse competitions, this is really a top priority. So please be understanding and kind. And then I'm especially going to ask you to drive extremely slowly. There is a 20-mile-an-hour speed limit through the Florida Horse Park anyway. We're asking you to take an even extra care, watching the roads, watching around you, because there is a lot of moving around, loading and unloading, a lot of equipment that you're not used to. And then be mindful when you saddle up. If your horse hasn't seen these things, this is a great time to desensitize. But please do be aware that they are moving around here at the Florida Horse Park, and this is important work, and we love what they're doing. So please keep that in mind.
Absolutely. And
anything you want to add?
If you're going to desensitize your horse, please don't come through the equipment. Please stay on the outside, because there's a lot of moving equipment.
There really
and
is.
It is dangerous here. I mean, we're standing on the outskirts. When you start to get into the middle of that, it is dangerous.
Yes.
And,
so steer clear. There's plenty of other room for horses to hack around.
Exactly right.
You don't need to be in it. So
yes, and we would appreciate that.
Yes,
like
absolutely.
I said, just be patient with us. We're doing what we can do. and we're just happy that we can help out.
Yes, and you always are helping our community and beyond. So Florida thanks you for what you do. This is a priceless endeavor that is so important. And I know that those people out there that are suffering terribly through all of this are very grateful to you for all that you do. So Jason Reynolds, thank you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Louisa Barton here with one of our wonderful partners, the Florida Horse Park, for the Horse Talk Show and the CEP's Equine Initiative. Jason might not like it if I said so, but him and his team are heroes in this storm, and sometimes those heroes aren't always first responders. Sometimes they're the support systems to help first responders get what they need. So we're very, very thankful to the Florida Horse Park. And speaking of heroes, heroes come in all sorts and in all places. So I'm very thankful to Ocala Dog Ranch right now for taking donations for us of dog food and cat food and supplies, water, and also to Larson Hay, who have their location downtown, also accepting donations of hay and feed to help everybody who have so many needs right now all over the southeastern region. So we're very grateful to both of those. So get your donations to the downtown location of Larson Hay and out to Ocala Dog Ranch on Highway 40. Thank you to Mr. Larson and the team and the Ocala Dog Ranch team. Larson Farms is our TV broadcast sponsor. Larson Farms, Idaho's finest alfalfa.
This hour of the Horse Talk Show is presented by Palm Chevrolet in Ocala, where the entire team is committed to making your experience in sales and service hassle-free and easier than ever with no games or gimmicks. Come in and visit on Southwest College Road or online at palmchevrolet.com. A second-to-none experience with all the amenities. Palm Chevy, find new roads.
LipChip is a company built by equestrians to make life at the barn a little easier. Equestrians, the future is here, and the future is LipChip.
This show is brought to you in part by DAC Vitamins and Minerals of Florida. DAC, it makes a world of difference. The Equine Performance and Innovative Center, situated on 30 pristine acres in the horse capital of the world, is one of the finest and most complete conditioning and rehab centers for equines and canines in the nation, including an equine hyperbaric chamber, aqua pacer, water treadmill, cold water leg spa, equine swimming pool, Eurosizer, and more. Epic equine veterinarians specializing in rehab and conditioning. For more information, go to epcrehab.com or find them on social media.
Cut through the noise and distinguish your business with a custom vehicle wrap from Smash Wraps. Get noticed with eye-catching vehicle wraps that showcase your brand's identity and earn you more business. If you're looking for a custom-designed vinyl wrap for horse trailers, box trucks, cars, or pickup trucks, for a single fleet vehicle, or for 100, no job is too big for the Smash Wraps team. Make your appointment to set your business apart today. Find us on social media or at smashwraps.com. And remember, don't just wrap it, smash wrap it.
This show is brought to you in part by TT Distributors, dedicated to bringing their customers the largest selection of quality horse supplements, products, and farrier supplies in Florida at affordable prices. Also online at ttdistributors.com.
Welcome back to the Horse Talk Show. Have you ever heard of a horse that can talk? Listen to this. With your host, Louisa Barton. She's literally in love with every horse. Presented by Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience. She's back in the saddle again. And now here's your host,
Pretty.
Louisa Barton. She's a Brit, she's got the gift of the gab, and her guests are fab.
The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital.
Hi, this is Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith. We're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Welcome back to the Horse Talk Show, presented by Palm Chevrolet, your hometown
Chevy experience. Thank you to Larson Farms, our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
I'm Louisa Barton.
I'm Dancin Pete Rodda.
And here we have Mireille from MD-equine Therapy on taping. Louisa Barton here for the Horse Talk Show and the CEP's Equine Initiative with Mireille from MD-equine Therapy. She's one of our CEP partners, and we are going to be talking a little bit about kinesiology taping. Hi Mireille, thanks for being with us. Hi, Louisa. Thank you for having me.
You've got some goodies there.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about, first of all, why we use tape and what are the benefits.
Yeah. So first of all, actually, what is taping, right? Kinesiology. Kinesiology is the study of movement and function in the body. And with tape, we can manipulate the movement in people, but also in horses. And most people are probably familiar with taping, like rock tape or equi tape.
That's right, yes.
Rock
You see
tape.
workout folks with
Yeah.
rock tape.
Yeah, in the Olympics, you see a lot of the swimmers wear tape, right? With horses, you don't see it as much during competition. It's not very common, but we see it in the barn, so we use it a lot in the barn. But you have equi tape, you have Hestaband, you have different types of brands. And the taping for horses it's basically a stretchable adhesive tape in different sizes, as you can see. And it can be put anywhere on the horse's body where we feel there is an issue. So we use it during rehabbing or for an injury. If we feel there's a restriction. So the tape gets put on the skin, and it's stronger because horses are hairy, right? So don't use human tape on horses, it won't stick. And don't use horse tape on yourself because it's very sticky. It's hard to come off. But what happens is the first thing that will happen is lifts the skin, and therefore it decompresses that area. And then you get better circulation and better blood flow. So that's the first thing that happens with tape. The second important thing is that it gives information to the body through the nervous system, and it helps with muscle, joint, and tendon issues to kind of tell the body where to go or where not to go. Have you ever worn tape yourself?
I've never done it, no.
Okay, it's very interesting.
I feel after this weekend with the topsoil project that perhaps I need my whole body taping.
Well, that's a lot, but I could do a little sample for you and put some tape where you kind of feel like there's pressure, or also with people for posture, for example. So also with horses, when we think of their posture, when they maybe slack or maybe don't move a limb properly, by adding the tape, it's going to feel like, oh, I can feel that leg move. Or when the back is up, we tape it, and when the horse starts to slack, basically, the tape is going to give information to the brain, like, hey, you need to be here. So it's for posture, also for people. So if you tape your shoulders and your blades, your shoulder blades, and you start to slouch, the tape is pulling you back
up.
So it's really for that function.
It's wonderful.
Yeah. So it gives a lot.
So different sizes,
Yeah.
depending on the area that you're actually taping,
Yeah.
right? So smaller areas, you would use the less wide tape. And then tell me about the one with the little
holes. So
holes, because I was going to ask you how breathable is the tape, but that's obviously very breathable.
Yeah, all the tapes are basically breathable. We can even put like a liniment or some gel or a topical. If you use a topical for an injury, you can put that. This one is called a lymphatic tape, so it has little holes. So if we have swelling and inflammation, you know, especially in a tendon or a leg, but can also be in the neck or the shoulder or the back, the tissue can still, breathe better through that. So there's a better circulation for a lot of swelling. So horses, for example, that just had colic surgery, they get a lot of swelling in their abdominal, right, underneath where the scar is. And actually, if we tape that with this, you get better circulation, and the swelling can kind of reduce a little bit faster.
And now, over what time periods would you be using this? Like, would you do it every day? Would it be in every other day? And how long would you suggest protocol? And I'm sure it's dependent on what the injury or the concern is. And then how quickly do you see results usually?
Yeah, so good. That's a lot of questions.
I know.
That's like 4 questions. So in regards to the tape, typically tape stays on 3 to 5 days. But there are horses that try to play with it and
Take it off.
pull it off of the
If it's
other horse.
reachable, which most places on a horse is.
Some horses are really good about it. Some horses that are turned out in a group, you know, the other horses might walk up to it because they're colorful, right? They have different colors, all rainbow colors, and they go like, what's this? Let me check that out. So they play with it. Horses in a stall tend to keep it on a little bit longer. And this can also, you can also cut. This doesn't mean this is the size. You can also cut it. So it can go anywhere on the body, starting, for example, TMJ. So if horses have TMJ pain, you actually make little strips. And you put them on the TMJ, and it kind of lifts the pressure, right, off the TMJ. And then they get better blood flow circulation. And then it reduces swelling and pain. How long the results? We see results sometimes immediately when we put on the tape that the horse is moving differently or moving better. Other injuries, if there's a true injury, it takes, of course, longer. But every horse is different. The other thing I wanted to say, it's not just for rehabbing or injury horses. It's also great for muscle memory. So if we're training horses and we see that they are not equally using their body, we can support that with taping, kinesiology taping, because it is for the movement. So it doesn't always mean when you see tape on a human or a horse, it doesn't always mean there's an injury or they're rehabbing. It might just be to communicate the body function, that function of those muscle groups, to the brain of the individual that is wearing the tape. So it's really cool. It has different functions.
So last 2 questions I have. Anything that you'd like to finally add to this taping, and then also how people find you on the web?
Yeah. So taping is part of a multi-modality therapy. So it's often incorporated with different types of body work to support that body work, to support the horse's training. However, it can be used as a standalone as well to support injury recovery. And especially since when I'm there, I'm only there for an hour or maybe 2 hours. And then the taping, it's typically multiple days, right, or multiple weeks. So I will teach the rider or the owner of the horse how to tape. They can purchase the tape and then they can apply it, right? Because it's not going to last. Right. You know, some horses take it off after a day, or it lasts 3 days, and then they can do it over and over, which has the most benefits. And in terms of finding me, it's md-equine.com, or you can call also 727-251-4197. I am based out of Ocala. So yeah, I'm happy to come and evaluate your horse, and see how we can support with taping.
Wonderful. Mireille with MD-equine Therapy. She loves the horses, and you can tell when you see her work on them. Louisa Barton for the Horse Talk Show and the CEP's Equine Initiative. Thank you to the presenting sponsor of this portion of the show, Palm Chevrolet, and to our TV broadcast sponsor, Larson Hay. Also, thank you to the supporting sponsors, the Equine Performance and Innovative Center, TT Distributors, Equifence of Florida, the Florida Horse Park, Smash Wraps, Nirvana Medical Spa, Equigreen, JNS Pressure Washing, Horse Vans, and Midnight Rose Equestrian. The team of professionals at Equifence of Florida specialize in equestrian fencing. Equifence of Florida, quality fencing done right to keep your animals safe.
This show is brought to you in part by Seminole Feed Stores. Seminole Feed, simply the world's best and safest feed.
Oh, piranha.
My name is Dr. Natalie Solomon. I formulated Equigreen with cutting-edge science and technology alongside the passion that is represented by a lifelong love of horses. I created a product that I would trust for my horses because they deserve nothing but the best for their bodies. Horses rely on us to take care of them, to love them, to respect them. This is how Equigreen came to life. Equigreen, CBD for your horse that you can trust.
Does your farm need a facelift? Has the harsh Florida climate left your barns, stable doors, and fences stained? J&S Pressure Washing has a professional team who can exceed your expectations and restore your farm to its former glory. Get rid of dust and cobwebs that can cause allergies and health issues for horses, and keep your horses safe by limiting fire hazards in the barn. J&S Pressure Washing can clean your house, your barns, your fences, and your driveway, and you can count on dependable and professional services. For more information, call Steven at 352-502-5355.
The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital.
This is Charlotte Cannon, and you are listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Welcome back on the Horse Talk Show, presented by Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience. Thank you to Larson Farms, our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
I'm Louisa Barton.
I'm Dancin Pete Rodda.
And we have Dr. Alberto Rullan from the Equine Performance and Innovative Center. Louisa Barton for the Horse Talk Show and Equus Television here at the Equine Performance and Innovative Center with Dr. Alberto Rullan. We're going to talk about what Betsy from Larson Hay told me is called SI, in case you've heard of SI and wondered what that was. It's Sacroiliac Disease. And I have an expert here to tell us a little bit about that. I know that horses can kind of bunny hop a little bit in the back, and the canter can get a little bit uncomfortable, and that can sometimes be a sign. Can you tell us some other signs, and then what we do from there? We come to you, of course.
you know everything already about sacroiliac disease. Sacroiliac disease will present exactly what you say, bunny hopping. Lack of pushing a lot of times, which is a little bit of a genetic symptom, right? That could come from any other problem in the hind end. So I always do tell, let's do a complete physical exam and a complete lameness exam to make sure we have covered all the bases, right? But you are correct. Bunny hopping, lack of pushing, generalized uncomfortability on the hind end. A lot of people notice when you actually press on the area over the sacroiliac, they get really painful in that area, and they just don't track as straight as they should. As they should, right? When and we can talk about sacroiliac the whole afternoon, obviously, but it's a big syndrome. The sacroiliac area is obviously a joint, right? Not like any other joint.
Tell us where that is for our viewers on the horse. Where would you be pushing to look for that?
So you're in the, imagine the saddle. Imagine this is the horse, and then the saddle is right here. So right behind the saddle, you have what we call the lumbar area. And then behind the lumbar, the junction between the lumbar and the sacrum is called the lumbosacral area. And
there's
then
a test later, folks.
Yes. And then we have the pelvis. And then in the pelvis, right around the pelvis area, the junction between the pelvis and the sacrum, that's going to be called the sacroiliac.
Got it.
If you go to our webpage, which is www.equinebackpain.com, there's a really good description of the whole anatomy and the sacroiliac disease and other back issues as well.
Wonderful.
So now that we know where the sacroiliac is, some of the symptoms, how do we diagnose it? Because a lot of people say, how are you sure that it is the sacroiliac? First and foremost, symptoms, clinical signs, number one, because you don't want to treat something that doesn't hurt.
Right.
Then we could ultrasound it. The ultrasound is not that commonly done because it's done per rectum. So we have to do a palpation, like if you want to do a pregnancy check. When the pregnancy check, you're looking down with the ultrasound. And this time you're looking up. And then you look at the sacroiliac. It's a little tricky. You probably should have done 1,000 to 2,000 before you're very comfortable saying that's the
Quite
problem.
a few.
Yeah, you probably should do a couple. Then we could do a bone scan as well. And there's no MRI. This is a very big misconception that I get. Can we do an MRI? No, we cannot do an MRI. It's too big. So MRIs are for the lower part of the legs, but we can do a bone scan. And the bone scan can direct us towards that pain. Can we x-ray it? No, not well. So in summary, bone scan, ultrasound, but most importantly, clinical signs.
Clinical signs, okay.
Yeah. Then, treatment-wise, rehabilitation is the #1 and best way to treat it. Trotting, no good. So we want to make sure that the horse has more canter, has good stretching, has good arch in the back. Decrease the amount of trotting, which sounds counterintuitive, right? Because a lot of our rehabilitation happens at the trot.
Right.
But for this particular issue, cantering is better.
Wow. Okay.
Because why? Well, because when you trot, the whole the viscera pulls in the abdomen, and that actually pulls in the spine as well. When you canter, you have just better core engagement.
Right.
That would be the simplest way to explain it.
Well, if you think of it like this, it's more comfortable for people to canter than trot.
Yes, yes.
So you think of it that way, right?
Exactly, exactly. So that's #1. Second, you can inject them.
Yes.
We can go with a needle. Always use ultrasound. We always go with the ultrasound. We find when the joint is, and we get right there in the joint with the ultrasound. Acupuncture, good.
Very good, yes.
Chiropractic adjustments, good.
Yes.
Massage,
yes.
Good.
I'm a believer in all of these.
Yes, yes. All those are very good. What did I miss? Shockwave.
Shockwave.
Also very good.
Very good.
So that's kind of our main approach towards sacroiliac disease, and of course the rehabilitation. If you're not gonna do cantering, then we can put him in the underwater treadmill. With the underwater treadmill, with the water, we control.
Yes, because you can control it rather than you don't know where to trot, what might happen.
Yep.
But in there, it's fully controlled. Yeah, it's good.
They engage the core a lot better.
They do. I've watched that, and it's pretty impressive. The exercise they get without that kind of jogging impact. It's like you said, you're able to monitor what they're doing.
Yeah.
So very effective.
And
the outcome is pretty good?
That was great, yeah.
Really?
We have, in the last several years, we have developed globally, I would say, all throughout the world and internationally, treatment for sacroiliac disease has become very standard, very, I wouldn't say easy, but at least standardized, where we can provide real good help. I forgot to mention mesotherapy. We also can do mesotherapy to help out.
And that is?
Oh, I don't know why I say that.
Maybe that's a whole segment.
That would be a whole segment. That would be a whole segment.
There you go.
So,
you just picked us a whole topic right there.
So what mesotherapy do? Maybe you have seen it, where there are hundreds of little injections that go kind of on top of the skin, and what that does is decreases the pain at the nerve level.
Ah, okay.
And they do it for people as well. We do it for horses, for dogs, for any animal. So that's another treatment that we do. Very good. So in summary, sacroiliac is
or SI
or SI disease. It can cause bunny hopping, lack of performance, especially coming from the hind end, generalized hind end uncomfortability. How do we treat it? How do we diagnose it? We could do a bone scan. We could do ultrasound. Clinical signs are going to be the most important ones.
Right.
How do we treat it? We can do injections of the sacroiliac, ultrasound guided. We could do chiropractic, acupuncture, shockwave, mesotherapy, rehabilitation in the aquapacer, canter and rehabilitation at home, working on that core. Yes. What else did I forget? I think we got it.
You did.
That's it. Important, check the whole horse.
Yes.
Many times there's something else going on.
Right.
All right?
Yes.
And we have to figure out everything. Lower limb, in the front, in the back. And that's about it for sacroiliac disease.
Amazing. You know what I love about Dr. Rullan? He's so thorough. And when he says clinical signs are the most important, what you need for that is an expert veterinarian that can recognize all those things to put the puzzle together so that you get the correct diagnosis and you get the best treatment. And it doesn't get much better than this. Louisa Barton here with Dr. Rullan at the Equine Performance and Innovative Center for the Horse Talk Show. Thank you to the presenting sponsor of this portion of the show, Palm Chevrolet, and to our TV broadcast sponsor, Larson Hay. Also, thank you to the supporting sponsors, the Equine Performance and Innovative Center, TT Distributors, Equifence of Florida, the Florida Horse Park, Smash Wraps, Nirvana Medical Spa, Equigreen, JNS Pressure Washing, Horse Vans, and Midnight Rose Equestrian. Ocala Dog Ranch offers a variety of services for your dog, including agility training, barn hunt training, board and train, boarding long and short term, daycare, day training, dock diving training and competitions, disc dog, swimming lessons and pool rentals, lure coursing and obedience training classes. Check out Ocala Dog Ranch at ocaladogranch.com. Ocala Dog Ranch is your home away from home for your dog and more.
This show was brought to you in part by TT Distributors, also online at ttdistributors.com.
Cut through the noise and distinguish your business with a custom vehicle wrap from Smash Wraps. And remember, don't just wrap it, smash wrap it.
Epic Equine Veterinarians specializing in rehab and conditioning.
This hour of the Horse Talk Show is presented by Palm Chevrolet in Ocala. Palm Chevy, find new roads.
Equigreen, CBD for your horse that you can trust.
Nirvana, Ocala's premier medical spa, is leading the way in great skin with all the newest in treatment options. Become a better, brighter, and younger you.
The Pat Myers Electric team is ready to jump in and help keep your horses safe. For all your current barn needs, go to patmyerselectric.com.
The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital.
Hi, this is Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith. We're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Welcome to the Horse Talk Show. I'm Dancin Pete Rodda, and this is my sidekick, Louisa Barton.
And this segment's presented by Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience. And who's our TV broadcast sponsor?
Larson Hay.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
Well,
and
we're going to start
this guy is going to give us some sort of advice here. Oh yes, it's Dancin Pete Rodda's
Tip of the Week.
Tip of the Week.
Dancin Pete's Tip of the Week, brought to you by Complementary Horsemanship. This tip is sponsored by Wildlife Works LLC.com for your unwanted wild critters removal. Wildlife Works presented this Tip of the Week.
Yes, and if you saw all those critters, if you were watching, not just listening, you don't want any of those critters.
So my Tip of the Week is 4 fingers of feel when you're using your reins, with 4 fingers of feel with your leg. So a lot of people are light with their hands, but they're not light with their legs. So I've seen a lot of riders that they'll jab their horse with their leg and stuff like that. I always say, think about 4 fingers. If you only closed 4 fingers one at a time, doing that same thing with your leg. 1 finger should barely be touching them. The next finger on your leg should be like against their skin to their muscle, and then hold it at the bone. And it's a hold, not a push. So that's my tip.
So don't be aggressive with the leg.
That's right. There's
You're
a lot
thinking
of people,
about your hands. Maybe you aren't thinking about your leg.
or vice versa. I've seen that too.
Well, there is that as well, actually. Both are very important.
Yeah, no grabbing.
Yes, if your focus is on your hands and not on your leg, then you might be doing something there that's not positive for your horse at all.
And don't add more pressure after your 4 fingers. Use another aid. So use your outside rein or your stick. If you have if you're riding with a stick or a crop, don't try to jab into them. And then if you do use spurs, touch your spurs the same way. Don't make it a big jab into them that they react. You don't want a reaction, you want a response.
Switching it up now, if you have a horse, I'm sure you have a dog. Here's Neil Hennessy from Ocala Dog Ranch. The Horse Talk Show goes to the dogs at Ocala Dog Ranch.
Neil Hennessy, the Ocala Dog Ranch. Socialize your dog. Take your dog everywhere that you're allowed. Most places now are dog friendly. Little bar, little restaurant, Home Depot, the Rural King. You can take your dog there. Take some treats. When you meet a stranger who wants to say hello to your dog, give them the treats and ask them to make your dog sit and then give them a treat. Make your dog learn to love people and that people are friendly. Not all people are friendly, but the ones that you're going to meet are friendly. So socialize your dog. Neil Hennessy, Ocala Dog Ranch.
Neil is always a wealth of information. And don't forget the Boo Splash at Ocala Dog Ranch. Boo, yes. Now we're going to take you to a little special feature we have, which is Louisa showing you how she mucks a stall. Unfortunately, we can't show you the whole thing.
Because it takes her a while.
Because it does take me a while to do it right. Well, to do it properly, this is a full mucking. So
What's
we're going to let you
mucking?
a full mucking. It's not a picking; it's a full mucking.
Does that mean you're stripping the stall?
Yes.
Okay, that's what we call it in America.
I'm not American. I don't know. If
Yeah,
you
we know
noticed or
that.
So anyway, here's a bit of it, and if you want to see the rest to completion of the stall stripping, then you can go to YouTube Horse Talk Show TV and see the rest. Here's a bit. Enjoy. Louisa Barton here for the Horse Talk Show, and I am going to show you how I prefer to muck a stall. So first of all, I would say make sure your wheelbarrow is all the way in your stall, because if it's just outside the door, some of the shavings and manure are obviously going to drop outside. Now there's a couple of things to bear in mind. If you have a horse in the stall with you and you're just trying to pick a few manure piles, you obviously would just come in and you would do a simple grab a manure pile like this, shake the clean shavings off the manure, and then deposit it straight in there. So that's if you are just doing a quick pickup. So in other words, maybe the horse is in, you need to work around him, or perhaps you're about to bring him in and you don't have time to do a complete muck, so you're just going to get the manure piles. So that's very quick and easy. But if you've just turned your horse out and he's been in the stall for some time, like overnight or all day, you may have a lot more manure and urine also in the stall to pick up. So the first thing I do if I want to do a good thorough cleaning is I bank. Now, one of the reasons I bank is because a lot of horses are like cats and they like to bury the manure, or perhaps they pace around in the stall in the night and the bedding goes on top. So where you might see visible manure, you might also have manure where you don't see it because it's covered in bedding. So what I do when I'm going to do a thorough clean, and one of the things that's nice is if you know your horse very well, you know where they tend to urinate. And a lot of horses will urinate in the same place, which makes it much easier to find the urine. So as you can see, as I'm banking up this clean bedding, what is happening? Manure is rolling out that was actually hidden underneath. So what I then do is I scoop all of that up. And you'd be surprised how when you pull this bedding back down, you will often find more manure that you missed. So I just throw this up against the wall. And as you see, the more I throw it, the more that the heavier piles of manure or small stool will actually fall out on the ground. And this side, as you can see, is not a side that Flynn uses as much for going to the bathroom. And as you can see, very obvious there, that there is urine. You can see that by the dark color. And I know that Flynn tends to urinate right here. So I'm going to flip that over. See how I can find the urine. And then again, banking up, we'll let those manure piles roll out that are hidden. So I get those. Careful in this process that you are not throwing the urine up into your banks, because that's going to be your dry bedding when you're done. Trying to find those urine piles first is always going to be your wisest thing, but if you have a horse that actually always urinates in the same spot, then I always recommend grabbing that first. That way you won't be throwing that wet urine up into your dry bedding.
Well, that was interesting. A lot of throwing manure around.
Listen, I've been mucking stalls since I was
the
in
ice
diapers,
ages?
nappies as we call them in England. Actually, I've been mucking stalls since I was in nappies, and you learn some methods that are helpful and time saving.
Yeah, I didn't start mucking stalls until I was in college.
I'm sorry for you. It's actually for me very therapeutic. Just so you know, it's very, very therapeutic. I find it is sort of mindless, and you're accomplishing something, but you really have to have both hands, so you aren't on the phone. You're able to clear your brain and muck, and I like that. So anyway, muck and stalls. Couple of quick mentions for you. Do not forget, if you are out there working on our farms, we appreciate you so much, and we really appreciate what Heart of Florida medical centers are doing, and just their program alone here in Marion County and surrounding area is phenomenal for everybody, offering everybody an opportunity to get health care if they need it. But this fantastic migrant youth fair that they're doing in conjunction with a wonderful organization that does so much for our community, and that is Ocala Farm Ministry. Chaplain Bob Miller has partnered up with them, and they are having just providing a wonderful opportunity on October 19th from 9 to 1 for folks to go out and get everything checked. So whether you've got a vision issue, concerns you might be pregnant, any of those things, teeth, dentistry, all of it, you can go and no questions asked, get taken care of and get those health issues addressed if you have concerns. So wonderful opportunity. Make sure you do that. And we have to wrap it up. So whether you're in Ocala, Marion County, the horse capital of the world or not,
Or not.
happy horsing around. Until next time.
See ya.